Welcome back. I'm your host, Susanna May Levan O'Hagan, and today we are going to be talking about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It's a 2024 American goth dark fantasy comedy horror film directed by Tim Burton from a screenplay by Alfred George and Miles, a sequel to Beetlejuice 1988. Let's get to it and do it. In 2024, Lydia Diaz hosts a paranormal talk show called Ghost House and is estranged from her daughter, Asteroid, after her husband and Asteroid's father, Richard, died while in the Amazon. Asteroid also refuses to believe that her mother can see ghosts. While taping an episode, Lydia hallucinates seeing Beetlejuice, who tried to marry her 26 years earlier in the audience. Lydia's stepmother, Delia, informs Lydia that her husband and Lydia's father, Charles, was killed by a shark. They and Asteroid travel to Winter River, Connecticut for Charles' funeral. At the wake, Lydia's boyfriend and producer, Rory, pressures her to marry him on Halloween. She hesitantly agrees. Meanwhile, Asteroid meets local boy Jeremy Fraser, who invites her to spend the holiday with him. In the Neverworld, Beetlejuice manages an afterlife call center consisting of shrunken heads employees and remains obsessed with marrying Lydia. Former actor turned afterlife detective Wolf Jackson informs Beetlejuice that his occultist Dolores Lefevre has resurfaced and gone on a murder spree, draining the souls of the dead while searching for him. The couple met during the Black Plague in Italy when Dolores married and then poisoned Beetlejuice as part of an immortality ritual. He murdered her before substituting to the poison. Asteroid realizes she has inherited her mother's psychic ability and discovers Jeremy is a ghost. He pursued her to accompany him to the Neverworld so she can see her father, but in reality, he tricked her to exchange souls so he could live again. Lydia learns from local realtor Jane Butterfield that Jeremy murdered his parents 23 years prior and died trying to escape. The police, when they came to arrest him, Lydia reluctantly summoned Beetlejuice, who reveals Jeremy's deception. She agrees to marry Beetlejuice in exchange for him taking her to the Neverworlds to save Asteroid. Beetlejuice disguises his lead employee Bob as himself and uses him as a decoy. Wolf discovers Beetlejuice has brought a living person into the afterlife and launches a manhunt for him. Capturing the disguised Bob, Dolores meets Bob at the police station while conjuring her search for Beetlejuice, draining his soul. As Beetlejuice and Lydia search for Asteroid, Jeremy escorts her through the afterlife. Bureacy. They reveal his true intent to Asteroid, who's taken to the Soul Train to be permanently sent to the great beyond. Lydia saves Asteroid right before the Soul Train departs. They escape through a portal to Stern's Moon Titan, where Richard, working as a civil servant, saves them from one of its sandworms. During a morning ceremony for Charles, Delia is bitten by a pair of a snake. that she was assured were defanged. She arrives in the netherworld and summons Beetlejuice to help find Charles. He arrives in exchange for help finding Lydia. Meanwhile, Richard shows Lydia and Asteroid how to return to the living world while Beetlejuice avoids Jeremy Visa and sends him to the fires of dementia. Returning home, Asteroid apologized to Lydia for not believing her ability. The duo arrives at the church for Lydia and Roy's wedding to Beetlejuice wedding, but Beetlejuice crashes the ceremony with Delia. Beetlejuice injects Roy with the truth serum, forcing him to admit that he never believed in Lydia's ability and is only a profiting gold digger. As Beetlejuice begins his marriage to Lydia, Wolf and his officers interrupt, but Beetlejuice keeps them at bay. Dolores then arrives to extract her revenge, but Asteroid summons a sandworm, which Beetlejuice tricks into devouring Dolores and Rory. This is a whole lot of stuff. Asteroid then reveals that Beetlejuice's married contract is void because of how he illegally brought her mother into the netherworld and Lydia banished him back there. Wolf escorts Delia back to the netherworld after she bids farewell to her daughter and Asteroid. She returns with Charles as he is about to board the soul train to the great beyond, and they depart together. Lydia ends Ghost House to spend more time with Asteroid while Beetlejuice continues to haunt her. Let's see what people say about Beetlejuice on Rotten Tomatoes. Beetlejuice is back. After an unexpected family tragedy, 3 generations of the Deeds family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter, Asteroid, discovers the mysterious model of the town in the attic, and the portal to the afterlife is accidentally opened. With trouble brewing in both realms, it's only a matter of time until someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, and the mischief demon returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem. We got 75 in the tomato meter and 78 in popcorn. Let's see what the reviews say. So these are the critics. Beetlejuice may not be intelligently nourishing, and it's not politically correct, but it's a blast. Thankfully, after a clumsy first act, Beetlejuice isn't too invested in what came before, delivering enough respect for the OG to satisfy nostalgics while moving into its own world. It's strange how a film that's only 104 minutes feels both overstuffed and intimately undercooked. There's a lot at work here. Multiple plots jerking from super menace and swirling together into something chaotic and at times exhausting. A slightly disappointing legacy sequel from Tim Burton featuring the glamorous return of Michael Winona and Catherine O'Hara to a franchise they made famous, but in a film overstuffed with characters, plot holes, and ridiculous story beats. Once a proud young artist pioneering the explosion of a pop manic, the surreal Tim Burton appears to have become a ghost of his former self. Wow, critics are tough. Let's see what the people critics say. Was good, but obviously not the original. Well, duh. Good reboot, to be honest. A nice time passer. Michael is the man and only Batman. Great actor, but Winona Ryder as well. Too many gross parts, but the plot is nice. The church scene is marvelous. Funny in 1.75 hours. Rated PG-13 for blood disappointed in the story, but I love seeing the original characters back on the screen. Solid reboot of a beloved franchise, just an absolute fun ride the whole duration. Jenna Ortega fits the vibe very well and offers a solid addition to the classic story of our friend Beetlejuice. Not amazing, but good to be back in the universe again. After a family tragedy, three generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River, still haunted by Beetlejuice. Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter, Astrid, accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife.